SS8H5. Analyze the impact of the Civil War on Georgia. Element A. Explain the importance of key issues and events that led to the Civil War. Include slavery, states' rights, nullification, Compromise of 1850 in the Georgia Platform, the Dred Scott case, Abraham Lincoln's election in 1860, and the debate over secession in Georgia. Our learning target: I will explain how the Compromise of 1850, the Georgia Platform, and the Dred Scott case led to the Civil War. Slavery and states' rights really had the country all messed up. Some wanted slavery, some didn't. Some wanted states to have more power than the federal government, some didn't. So the U.S. Congress got together to help out, to come up with a compromise, or a few compromises. The idea was to keep the country together. Our first compromise was the Missouri Compromise. It allowed Missouri to enter the Union as a slave state and allowed Maine to enter as a free state. So the balance of free versus slave states would be equal. The problem came when California applied to become a state. The gold rush in California was happening, so they finally had enough population to apply. But there was no slave state to apply. This would upset the balance. The South was fearful of losing the slavery battle in the Senate because the South had a lower population. The talk began of the South leaving the Union, but two senators got together and wrote the Compromise of 1850. The Compromise of 1850 said that California would be admitted to the Union as a free state, but in turn, Congress would have to pass the Fugitive Slave Act. The Fugitive Slave Act said that any runaway slave would be returned to its owner if it was caught in the North. This upset many Northerners, but the South believed it would protect slavery. Georgia was unsure of the Compromise of 1850 and the Fugitive Slave Act. If it passed, it would upset the balance of free versus slave states. So Alexander Stephens and Robert Toombs came up with the Georgia Platform. The Georgia Platform gave the Southern states rights, which means the Southern states could have slavery. The Georgia Platform delayed the Civil War for 11 years. Remember the Missouri Compromise? Missouri entered the Union as a slave state. Well, Dred Scott was a Missouri slave who had been taken by his master to the free states of Illinois and Wisconsin. Dred Scott believed because he had spent time in the free state, he should be free. The case made it all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court. There, the court ruled with Missouri, saying Dred Scott was an enslaved person and not a U.S. citizen. They said he didn't even have the right to sue. One of the justices was Georgia native Justice James Moore Wayne, ruling with Missouri. Justice James Moore Wayne stayed true to the Union and was even said to be a traitor. Georgia even took his property.